Hey guys, what is up? It's your girl, Gracetorie, and I'm back with a whole new episode. I feel like I have fought wars this week, and I don't think I've said that in a long time, but it's been a week, and so if you hear my voice like kind of losing it's because my allergies are terrible. And yeah, it took a lot to get out of bed and film this, so know that I love you because damn. So today's podcast episode is a fun one. It is going to be reading Halloween themed stories from r/Petty Revenge, because I've been wanting to dive into Petty Revenge and all the stuff on there on a podcast episode for a long time, but obviously I haven't gotten to it. And then I wanted this episode to be kind of spooky Halloween themed, with Halloween being just a couple days away. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Some of them are like revolve around Halloween, and then some of them just like mention Halloween at some point. So yeah, that is what we're going to be doing. Before I jump in, don't forget to follow on whatever platform you're currently watching or listening on. If you're on YouTube, I'm currently doing a fun little community thing where if you subscribe before 1K, be sure to comment #GalWithGoals, because you're a gal with goals who wants to join this community as we're working to become the best version of ourselves and share some giggles, some entertainment along the way. So yeah, that's really what the channel's about, what the podcast is about, and we would love to have you here. So last thing, don't forget to engage, leave a comment, leave a like. It really helps out my podcast, and it's free. So yeah, it takes about 2 seconds of your time. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump on in. I'm Gracetorie, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. This one is called A Bang in the Night. Get your head out of the gutter. When I lived with my mom and her now ex-husband and his boys, my room was in the basement and the boys' rooms was right above me. At night, while I was trying to sleep, he would bang on the wall or hit the floor for hours until he fell asleep. He knew that it bothered me because I couldn't sleep with him doing that, which made him want to do it more. One night I had it, for he had been doing it for almost 2 hours. I grabbed my phone and found some like scary Halloween sounds of like creepy kids talking and like wailing ghosts. I pushed play on my phone, then held it up to the vent that we shared. All of a sudden the banging stopped and there was a pause before he started screaming and ran to our parents' room. I felt a bit bad for scaring him so bad, but he quit banging on the floor, so it was worth it. I wonder if he started banging on the floor again like after that, like a week later or whatever. Also, this is probably gonna bother him for like the rest of his life, so nice. Honestly, support it. I have a younger brother. I support it, but it's kind of funny at the same time, and I wonder if he like remembers this like a decade later. I wonder how much it actually affected him. This one is titled Don't Ring the GD Doorbell If You Want the Good Candy. The wife and I have had a busy year. We bought a house in March, and then we had our first child, a baby girl, in late September. Since we had lived in apartments throughout our entire relationship, this was our first Halloween that we expected to get any trick-or-treaters. My wife was of course thrilled and went out and bought a crap ton of full-size candy bars because she wants the reputation of that house so that more kids visit so that she can see their cute costumes. The only issue with this plan was that we have a newborn and 2 dogs that go apeshit whenever the doorbell is even looked at. To try and reduce the number of barking fits that trigger a crying baby, we kenneled the dogs upstairs in our bedroom and put a sign next to our doorbell that said, "Please do not ring the doorbell, barking dogs and sleeping newborn inside." Our front door is visible from our living room, so if we left the solid door open and the storm door closed, we would have no issue seeing if anyone was waiting for candy. At the beginning of the night, the system worked with no issues. The baby was content and never startled. I held on to her, and my wife would greet the children at the door and offer to let them choose 2 full GD-size candy bars because she loves children and Halloween and just wants them to have a great time. Around 8 o'clock, the baby finally fell asleep, so I put her in her bassinet so I could take a break from baby duty and hand out candy myself. With a smile, I got up and started to walk towards him. As I approached, the kid broke eye contact and started reading the sign above the doorbell. Then, the little shit reached up with his spindly little fingers and rang the goddamn doorbell. The dogs lost their shit and started barking like an intruder was on their way inside to murder the family. This, of course, woke up the sleeping baby, who, of course, began to cry. The smile on my face quickly fell to pissed-off glare as I walked towards the door to reward this little asshole with some candy. As I reached for the bowl filled with full-size candy bars, I noticed the treat I received at the office the day before that I had lazily neglected to throw away. I grabbed it and threw it on top of the bowl with the rest of the candy. I opened the door with a smile, holding the bowl of goodies at his eye level. "Trick or treat," he said with glee as he held out his bag and looked at the candy that I held before him. "Happy Halloween," I said back as the baby screamed in the background. It was here that I did not let him take 2 candy bars. I didn't even let him take 1 candy bar. Instead, I reached into the bowl myself, picked up the lone, fun-sized bag of candy corn, and dropped it into his outstretched bag. He looked the candy into his bag, then looked back up at the bowl filled with full-size Reese's, Snickers, Kit Kats, and M&Ms. Then he looked at me. After a moment's pause, he whimpered out a half-assed thank you and trudged down the steps towards the cul-de-sac. "Have a safe night," I yelled after him as I closed the door and went to console my crying daughter and assure my dogs that no one was being murdered. This is the type of petty revenge I'm here for. Like, no one was hurt. Hopefully that kid learned a lesson. One thing I know, living in like a suburban neighborhood, you don't mess with a sleeping baby. Do not ring the doorbell. Don't knock. And dogs love to bark. I have dogs that bark when people ring the doorbell, and it is annoying. It's so much to get them to stop. Like, some dogs just are bred to be guard dogs, and they're gonna guard, you know? Like, both of my dogs are mixed with German Shepherds. They're gonna guard. So getting them to not is obviously, like, hard. Also, I don't really want them to not because they're guard dogs. Like, they're protecting their household as they should, queen. Like, so I get it. Like, that kid was just, he hasn't learned enough about life to appreciate what that means. Like, he read that sign, but he's never had a sleeping baby. He probably doesn't have dogs that bark, so he doesn't understand what he's doing. He know not what he does. This one is titled, "Steal My Halloween Candy? Not If I Can Help It." One particular Halloween, my brother and I formulated a game plan for our neighborhood so that we could hit up the most amount of houses without backtracking. We did very well that night and actually had to come back home a few times to dump our full bags before going back out again. Needless to say, we were very happy. Next day was a school day, and when we came back home, we were looking forward to eating and sorting our candy from the night before. It was all gone. Our grandmother, who lived with us, informed us that candy was bad for our teeth and health, so she gave it away to the mailman earlier that day. We were pissed off, but we felt like there was nothing we could do at that point. About a month later, my grandmother was leaving for a trip back to Korea to visit some family for a few weeks. I was helping to load her bags into my mom's car and noticed one of the bags wasn't zipped up all the way. I was searching for the zipper and then I noticed something peeking out. My Halloween candy bag. I knew it was mine because I had decorated it in class a couple months ago. It had to be mine. Pulled it out and found my brother's Halloween bag along with a few other plastic bags filled with the additional candy that we hauled in a month earlier. I didn't say a word and stealthily waited for moments where my grandmother and parents weren't paying attention and snuck each bag into my closet. Honestly, I know my grandmother was taking the candy from my cousins in Korea, but WTF, I worked for this shit. If she had just asked me, I would have gladly given her a bag to take them, but she effing stole them and lied about it. Hell no. Also, I had only 5 cousins in Korea, and they got 98% of the candy my brother and I worked for. I'm not counting the candy my brother and I ate on Halloween and took to school the next day. If she just asked for a bag or two, it could have worked out, but try to take it all and you get nothing. This happened about 20 years ago and I still see my grandmother often. Neither of us have ever brought it up. I know there was a point when she realized she was missing a ton of candy, but there was no way she would ever ask me or my brother about it. I agree. Honestly, I agree. Maybe controversial, but if you lie about it, then all bets are off. Like, if she would have been like, hey, you know, your cousins would love some of this. Would you like to share with them? And giving you, like, autonomy in the situation, but to just lie and take it, stressful. I don't like that. Not a fan. So, yeah, I support this. This one is titled, "Don't Cancel Halloween on Me, Please." I used to work customer service at this large electronics chain store. The customer service area was its own room, mostly separate from the rest of the store, so we would always go out decorating for the holidays. Santa's cottage around Christmas, tons of flags around the 4th of July, and around Halloween, a haunted house. Family friendly, of course, cute cartoons, skellies and ghosts, spider webs, and this big inflatable black cat on a pumpkin. My customer service manager decides randomly one year he hates Halloween and we aren't decorating this year. This wasn't a corporate decision either. All the other stores in our district were still decorating. We usually have a friendly competition with one another over who has the best decorations. I ask if we can at least put the cat up in the corner because it's cute and a fun distraction for kids waiting for their parents to finish at the desk. Nope. Halloween is stupid and we're not putting anything up. I had already given my 2 weeks notice at this point, not because of the no decorations thing. I'd found a better paying position elsewhere. It was my last day, which happened to be the day before Halloween, and I thought, F it. I went to the warehouse guys and said to them, get me the cat. They're confused and asked if the manager finally gave in. I tell them no, it's going in his office. They were more than happy to rifle through the decoration boxes with me to find it. Now let me give you a visual of the office. It used to be a supply closet. It was barely wider than the door and about as deep. Think about the size of your average bathroom stall. He had a shelf installed as a desk against the backside and moved his computer and tiny filing cabinet in it as soon as he realized there was an outlet in the wall. The rest of the managers used a general office area that he was apparently too good for. So anyways, I took the currently deflated cat, put it in the center of this tiny office, plugged it into the outlet on the back wall, and just stepped back as the fan whirred to life. When finally inflated, this cat took up the entire office. It bulged out a little. I shut the door. When my manager eventually wandered over to it, the look on his face when he opened the door was priceless. His jaw literally dropped. He was speechless. I was a little afraid he'd just take a box cutter to it, but nope. He actually fought his way around it to unplug from the wall. My manager was not a small guy either, so seeing him squeeze into this already small space now crowded by a huge obnoxious lawn ornament was comedy. Everyone that was present but him had a nice little laugh. Best part? I was usually one of the good employees, so he didn't believe me when I straight up told him it was me. I also support this. If it's your last day, I don't like that. As someone who has a degree in leadership, 2 has experience in corporate and a customer service world, putting little things like decorations on the wall is really helpful and motivating and really cheery when you're working in an office that's beige walls day after day. It really does make a difference. Additionally, if the workers want it, who cares what the manager thinks? Obviously I'm not talking about anything crazy like a freaking union. I'm talking about decorations. If your workers want something harmless like that and it's going to increase productivity, why would you say no? So yeah, I mean, I like it. I like it. This is titled Adhering to the Spirit of Trick or Treat. I have a literal trick or treat plan for Halloween this year. Last year I took my kid out trick or treating, and because I wasn't going to be home, I left a bowl of candy on the porch. By the time we got back, it was empty. We don't have a ton of kids in the neighborhood, so I know someone took this giant bowl and dumped it. I'm not upset about it, but it is a bit rude, so I think this year I'm going to trick someone if they get too greedy. I'm going to set out the same bowl, and on top will be treats. If someone takes a few, not a problem, they get their treat. However, I'm going to add a false bottom to the bowl, and underneath it I'm going to put a thick layer of mica glitter. That way if someone grabs the whole bowl and dumps it, their candy is going to be dusted with a glittering layer of trick. Mwahahahahahaha. Someone suggested they get cameras to record the action, and this was a year ago, but, I guess that never happened. It is biodegradable, edible glitter, by the way. Again, I respect it. I like this. You should consider doing it as well. I think this one just mentions Halloween. I'm not sure, but it's titled Party with Blasting Music Right Outside of My Bedroom into the AM. Enjoy the shower. I live on the top floor of an apartment building. Last night, I had a couple friends over to watch some scary movies and hang out. As the night continues, we hear music get louder and louder outside of my apartment. The next door neighbors were having a Halloween party on their roof, and there were at least 50 to 60 people there. As Top 40 pounded relentlessly outside, unable to be drowned out even by the highest volume on my TV, the cheering of the crowd seemed endless. 12 a.m. came and went. The party showed no sign of slowing or quieting down. I'm all for parties, but have them indoors past a certain hour. Don't keep the whole block up listening to Doja Cat with you. That's when I remembered the water guns. I'd gotten them on Amazon during a particularly brutal hot week of summer, but they had laid unused in my closet for the past few months. The forecast did say scattered showers, and nothing got an outside party to wind down better than inclement weather. Embodying the trick, half of the trick-or-treat spirit, my 3 friends and I each grabbed a gun and filled it up with water, donned our coats, and ran up to the roof, squirting the guns from 2 angles over the unsuspecting guests below. Cheers of fun turned into screams of terror as cold water splashed from above. As I pumped blast after blast of water off the edge of my roof, it felt like I was blasting every noisy neighbor I'd ever had that had kept me up all night with music, an all too common occurrence in New York City. We went back inside, cheeks flushed from our victory. We peeked out the window to see a few raincoats and an umbrella, but after 15 minutes or so the party had fizzled out and the music was blessedly turned off. As I was using the bathroom a little bit later, which has a window facing their roof, I heard a loud debate echoing about whether it had been rain or someone with water guns in the neighboring roof. One person swore they'd seen figures and heard them laughing. The other two said it was just rain, just like the forecast said. I guess they'll never know. It's giving, so anyway, I started blasting. We are moving on. This one is titled, I Hope I Ruined Someone's Video. Last night I was at a Halloween-themed event parade and enjoying myself. We had a front row seat to a very long parade and got there extremely early. I'm very short, so this was important to me to be able to see. The parade starts and it's all fun. Then a woman from behind the crowd shoved me and went in front of me off the sidewalk and started filming the parade, completely blocking my view. That is so annoying. Side note, that's annoying. Anyway, she would scream at the parade people to make them wave at her, and I missed about a quarter of the show because of her. I'm really shy in life and usually not that angry, but the 2-hour-long wait boiled my anger and I started thinking about how I could ruin her video. I started yelling swear words with sexual nature and she didn't notice at first until I yelled, "Lady with blonde hair in front of me just said she likes, insert weird kinks here." She turned around and told me, "Seriously, I'm filming here." I replied, "Go to another spot because I won't stop." She started to yell that the parade security came to tell her to go back on the sidewalk, but no one was letting her back on the sidewalk where I was. I hope my voice comes through on most of her videos and she can't show them to anyone. I'm a bit proud for standing up for myself for once. I'm also glad there were no kids around me, just teens. I did check before I did it. We love a considerate queen. As someone who's like a people pleaser and is not good with confrontation, I applaud you. I may not have handled it that way, but again, I applaud you. Good for you. This one is just including a Halloween decoration, but I thought it was funny, so we're including it. This one is titled The Effective Management of Door-to-Door Salesman. A bit of backstory on this. My husband, God's love him, is a biker and retired Navy NCO. Big, barrel-chested, bald, bearded dude covered in tattoos. If you've ever seen a very loud Harley or similar bagger riding down the highway, veteran service vest covered in mission patches and rider formation on a poker or honor guard ride, you know precisely the type. Fierce teddy bear of highway Armageddon. That's my guy. DH has a very specific sense of humor. He's essentially a 15-year-old trapped in the body of a middle-aged man. I haven't spent a day without laughing at his antics in the nearly 19 years we've been together. Now, for whatever reason, everywhere we've lived, we've been inundated with missionaries and door-to-door salespeople. We've never put out a no trespassing sign. Mostly for 3 reasons. 1, we shouldn't have to. Trespassing should be something well-brought-up people do not do. 2, kids selling chocolate are always welcome. 3, you trespass, you deserve what you get. Which might be an eyeful of naked biker. Oh, and did I mention that sense of humor? I should also mention here, DH is a nudist. I'm not sure how 20 years in the US Navy plus biker equals nudist, but there you go. This is my life. It's weird, but fun. And accordingly requires a rather expensive investment of window treatments every time we move. I'm currently in window treatment acquisition for the home we moved into last spring. You have been warned. At one point, the local church was on some insane door-knocking mission from hell. We were getting folks knocking on the door every few days. I kept begging on them to put us on the do not go list or whatever. Seems they do not have one. Yeah, they don't. As someone who did door-to-door sales for like a day because I was tricked into doing it, they don't care. Just a heads up, and they know how to get around the law. So if you call the police, they have a way to get around it. I'm not defending them. I think it sucks and it's annoying, and I quit as soon as I figured out what it was. But yeah, they suck and they can't get around it. Anyway, that's a tangent for another time. We're continuing on. Cue the nudist biker. He's home one weekend day, wandering about the house in all his glory, and sees missionaries heading down the long driveway. "Hey honey, watch this," he yells. Oh shit, this I gotta see. He grabs a giant carving knife from the kitchen, nabs this insane giant sparkly Halloween store pentagram we had on a Halloween skeleton in the dining room, flings open the front door and bellows at the top of his "I can be heard on the top of aircraft carriers during flight ops" NCO voice, "You are late. Where's the goat?" Let's take a moment to reflect. Generally speaking, the folks who go door to door for Jesus are lovely, soft-spoken people who have been suckered into bothering people in the privacy of their homes for the promise of the afterlife. They lead nice, quiet little lives. In no reality are they at all prepared to be shouted down by a tattooed Viking dude in all his naked glory, rising above them on a front porch, holding aloft a knife, and wearing a pentagram large enough to pick up radio signals from Guam while screaming about goat sacrifice. In all honesty, doubtful anyone truly is prepared for that. And yet, dear readers, here we are. I'm watching from the kitchen window, incredulous as these people turn paler than the whitest Halloween ghost. The lady among them slaps a hand over the other woman's eyes. Their mouths drop open. Metaphoric hands start grabbing at metaphorical pearls. Someone drops a Bible. Before I can blink, they've sorted out what wits have not evacuated said situation, turned and scrambled back down the driveway. In the mad dash, they've left their Bible, which we later add on to one of the outdoor Halloween displays. If they come back for it, they've earned it. If not, well, the Gideons will happily send them a freebie. DH is roaring with laughter, crying his victory to the sky. So far, he's managed to get rid of vacuum salespeople, Mormons, evangelicals, Jehovah's Witness, door-to-door cleaning supplies salespeople, and that nice older couple down the street who keeps inviting us to their church. The big pentagram we keep by the door now for door-to-door salesman emergencies. Though admittedly, it's been pretty quiet around here. Word has gotten out about the screaming nudist biker, I suppose. Sadly, still no goat. That's a good one. Honestly, a good one. Let's do one more. This one is titled Halloween, My Favorite Holiday. I live in the suburbs. When I say suburbs, I mean Wonder Bread, conservative, PTA, soccer moms type suburbs. Halloween is usually very tame. When we moved in 5 years ago, we've taken on the role of the weirdo family in the neighborhood. Every neighborhood has one. You know, we have body part props all over the yard, all kinds of things like that. Every year, we try to do something to top the last year, just to keep in line with our reputation. Our neighborhood, as I said, is a nice neighborhood, nice enough where other families who live elsewhere come over here to go trick-or-treating for the occasion. With this, over the past few years, we've noticed that the number of kids showing up in no costume, or a half-assed one, has steadily risen in the past 5 years in which we've resided here. Being those who take Halloween pretty seriously, we decided something needed to be done about it. We came up with an idea, and it's been implemented ever since. During the year, anytime we order in or go out to eat, we collect mustard and ketchup packets, sporks, duck sauce, soy sauce, you name it. We have a bucket we keep them in. When we get that trick-or-treat knock on the door and some kid is standing there with no costume, or just a football jersey, or some lame crap like that, we smile, reach into the bucket, stealthily stick a bunch in their bag while wishing them a happy Halloween. Makes me happy every single time. That's a good one to end on, honestly, and I agree. I don't know what it is. Like, when I grew up, maybe I was just, like, in a specific, very sheltered situation. That's probably the case, but I feel like when I grew up, we looked forward to Halloween. Like, I DIY'd most of my costumes. I still do. Like, I was never want to go out and get one. I wanted to be creative and make it, and that's always something that, like, I've enjoyed. But also, my friends and I have always loved like getting dressed up. To me, that's the best part, like getting in costume, and it's so much fun to pick it out and, you know, everybody coordinate. The candy's cool, but like doing all of that is more fun to me. And I feel like no one dresses up unless they're so little that their parents like dress them up anymore. Unless, like, I feel like 8 and younger, sometimes up to 10, they dress up, but after that it's just like a jersey or nothing, and it's so sad to me. Like, did you what is your childhood? Like, I mean, even if you just put like the little black marks on the face to be a football player, that's more than just wearing the jersey, you know? Like, I understand that some people cannot afford like Halloween costumes and things like that, and I'm totally sympathetic to that, but there are ways that you can DIY a costume, and I think that like kids just have lost that magic, and it makes me so sad. So yeah, that's it. That's all we got. So yeah, let me know if I should do more petty revenge things. I probably will, but it's up to you guys at the end of the day. If you guys think these suck, let me know, and I won't do them. But, you know, I hope you guys had a safe first Halloween weekend, and you have an even safer next Halloween weekend, and everything's awesome and good on your end. I'm going to film or edit this, and then I'm going to go to bed probably. Maybe I'll read. I don't know. I'm going to go do some grandma activities. But I will see you guys in my next podcast episode. Don't forget to like, comment, engage, follow, all the things. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Comment gal with goals. If you are subscribing, but I think that really is it this time. We're done. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Love you.